So you've done it. You've retired. Congratulations. Life is all good, no worries, right? Probably not. Even after retirement, there are 7 big concerns you may still have, and we're going to go through those. I experienced them, and some of you may be doing the same thing. I'm Adrian from Adrian's Avenue, and I talk about things that are rich, relatable, and relevant that will help you make better decisions to a better life. Let's jump right into this one. Now, there are at least 7 big post-retirement concerns. These concerns are based on, regardless of how well you've planned, the uncertainty about the future. And so these are things that may come up even though you've planned, you've done the best job that you possibly could, planned it out and everything. These are still concerns that may come up after you retire. All right, let's go. The first one is, will you have sufficient funds to cover your new lifestyle? You've planned, you've put the budget together, you know how much that you should be spending every month, but is this going to be absolutely enough to cover the lifestyle that you want? What if some things come up, some uncertainties, some things break around the house? These are things that may happen. Do you have enough money? People often worry about this. Sometimes people retire before they have enough money, and so there is a concern. And if that comes up, sometimes retirees have to go back to work or get a part-time job, get a second job, do something extra to bring in some more money. And don't be ashamed if this is something that you want to do. Some people actually retire to do something else. And so this is automatically built into the other things that they're going to be doing. But this could be a concern because of the future uncertainty of this is a new lifestyle for you. You know, you're used to going into work every day, have a regimented schedule, know that you're going to be getting a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, every month, however it comes out to you. And you know these things for sure. But when you retire, you know that there's a certain amount of money that you have, but the actual lifestyle that you'll be living and some uncertain things that may come up can put you at a little bit of a concern. So that's something that is a post-retirement concern for sure. The second thing that may be a concern to you is healthcare costs as they rise. As we know, with inflation and everything else, prices are going up. The doctor prices, the prices that you have to pay, the cost that you have to pay for insurance, what you're getting done, how much that costs, just everything is rising in this era of inflation right now. And medical insurance, your health is also rising, the cost of being healthy, maintaining health. My gym membership just went up. So the best made plans can still be adjusted by things that you just don't know. I didn't know that my gym membership was going to go up as I have work done on my teeth or my eyes. Contact lenses may go up, glasses may go up. This is something that we don't know. So we can plan as much as we possibly can, but these are unknowns. And so once this starts happening, there may be a bit of concern as to, okay, am I going to have enough money to pay for this? I've allowed it this much to pay for it. However, it's gone up now. So this is another concern that you may have post-retirement. And not to say that you've done anything wrong, because you may not have. These are just some uncertainties that you just don't know about. Now, one of the biggest concerns, which is really a good thing, is your longevity. Some folks are concerned with outliving the money that they have saved. And this is a real concern for some because they may have gotten out and retired prior to the time or as much money as they may have needed. Or if they retired and have quite a bit of bills, it's eaten up their retirement fund. Various things could happen where you start to calculate and become really concerned about, will I have enough money to live out the balance of my life? And this is a real concern. It can keep you up at night because you just don't know. The plans that you thought that you have made, maybe the numbers are not figuring out anymore, but this is something that is a major concern for some, because you want to live as long as you possibly can, and you want to live happy. You want to cherish your golden years. You want to be able to do the things you want to do, spend the money you want to spend with who you want to do it with, spend it on who you want to spend it on, if it's grandkids or going out with friends, whatever it is. but it becomes a concern when the money starts going down a little faster than you think it should, or that you actually calculated. So this is a concern. And again, this is something that you may have to go back to work to make ends meet. You may have to go back to work to pile up a little more money. I would say live as long as you possibly can, live as healthy as you possibly can, and figure out the money part as you go along. If you feel at some point in time, this is just not enough money for me to continue to make it, you may need to look at your budget and start cutting back on a few things, maybe not going on so many trips. Look at what you're eating, start eating, cooking food in the house instead of going out. Just a few things you want to look at to adjust it, to make sure you have enough money. And look at your investments. How are they doing? Do you need to move things around so that you can continue to get those solid returns? These are things that you want to think about, but this is a post-retirement concern for sure. You don't have to be concerned if you hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. Share this one out because we want everyone to make better decisions for a better life. Now, there is an unknown that we're experiencing right now, and that is inflation. If we're not experiencing it right now, we will experience it in the future. But inflation is coming. A normal inflation is about 3%. We can expect for things to go up in cost about 3% a year. But when it climbs more than that, you haven't really planned for inflation to skyrocket 6, 7, 8% a year. And that means the cost of goods that you're buying are more expensive than what you had originally planned for. Even if you plan for the 3% inflation and it goes up to 4 or 5, 6%, your money is less valuable than what you thought it was going to be. And so this is something that we have very little control over for the most part. The government can do a few things, and there are a few things that you can do for yourself as far as cutting back on what you're spending money on, looking and comparing items in the grocery store, comparing items, maybe getting a generic brand as opposed to a more popular brand of the items that you're buying, especially things such as toilet paper or stuff that's really doesn't make that big of a difference. But read the labels, read the ingredients on canned goods or whatever it is that you're buying to make sure you're getting the best value for your money. Because when inflation is high, and also be careful with the things that you're purchasing. Make sure if you can find something on sale and that's really what you need, go for it. But just because things are on sale doesn't mean that you run out and just buy it just because it's on sale. So we have to make good decisions in order to keep the inflation up under control. And so these are some things that we don't know how inflation is going to play out. The plan should be about 3% of inflation a year. So never assume that things are going to remain the same as far as $1. What you can buy today for $1, you can buy tomorrow for $1 and the year after. That's not true. But if you put in your budget the 3% increase, that's about normal, and that's about where things should be. When this raging inflation like we're under right now comes in, gas is high, food is high, dry cleaning is high, everything is high. It's more expensive than it used to be, which means the value of the money that you have is less. So what you thought you could buy, you can no longer buy that certain amount. But inflation is a concern post-retirement. Now, if you're relying on the stock market for some of your income, which I suggest all of us probably will do at some point in time, we've been saving the money, it's been invested, and now you're relying on it to take some of the money out. The volatility of the stock market can affect when you take that money out, because if the stock market drops and your money's in there, let's say you had $100,000 in the stock market and it drops 15%, that means you only have $85,000 available to you. Now, you don't necessarily lose that money until you start withdrawing it. So if you take it out at the high, let's say the stock market goes up and you have $120,000, that would be a great spot right there. If you wanted to draw down some, you could draw down some. But if it goes down, that's one spot where you don't want to take the money out because it's lost value and your money is not worth as much. So the volatility of the stock market is something we can't predict sometimes. What you can do is invest in solid stocks, and even solid stocks will go up and down. So that's an area that we just have to watch But that may be a concern, especially if it happens and you look at the stock market on a daily basis and you can see your earnings or your money just dwindling because of the volatility of the stock market. Now, I've talked a little bit about this in another video, but if you are relying on Social Security, it is said to be depleted by 2033. So it may be there, it may not be there. If it's there, it may be in a lower amount than what you find right now. If you look at your Social Security benefits, what you could potentially get right now, it may be a lower amount than what that's out there for you. So the unpredictability of Social Security and what the government will do, what kind of laws and bills they will pass, and as far as benefiting the seniors or the retirees, we just don't know. And so it's something that you cannot count on 100%. Yes, I hope it's there. I hope they don't cut everything, even the Medicare and Medicaid. Those may be on the line at some point in time. So we hope they're there. We hope we can still use them. But that's something that if I were you, I would not rely on 100%. And there may be some days and times. I know some people say that the government won't let this happen. And I hope that they don't let it happen. But it still may be cut to where you think that you may be getting a couple of $1,000s, $2,000 or $3,000 that you can pull up now and see. Later on, when it's actually your time to start withdrawing some money, it may be down to $1,500 or $1,000. Who knows? But this is something that we don't have very much control over. But you can do what you need to do for yourself to kind of make up the difference. But that is something, the Social Security and the government is something sometimes when we hear things being said and who's being elected, it can be of a little concern for people that are retired. And last but not least is legacy planning. You want to be sure that your assets go the way you want them to go when you're deceased and gone on. You want to be sure that the things that you've set aside for certain people, the money that you've set aside for certain people, the land that you've set aside is distributed the way that you want it distributed. And so legacy planning is something that's paramount, and you don't have to be concerned about it if you go ahead and get those in place. And as you age in retirement, if you accumulate more things, make sure those are also, especially if you have a trust, put those in the trust also and make sure it's managed. There will be someone here after you're gone that will make sure your wishes are carried out. So legacy planning is probably something that can be of least concern if you go ahead and take care of it. That way your wishes will be carried out, even though, you can, like I said, you can speak from the grave and your wishes will still be carried out. If you're concerned about who will get what, you need to do this. If not, the government, your state will step in and make those decisions for you. So either way, your items will be distributed. Also, when you pass on, you really don't want your family to be in feuds over who gets what, because your wishes weren't clear and written out and discussed with them. If you have it in writing, if it's legal, they have to go by those documents. There's no way around it. So in order to do this, you can eliminate a lot of discussion. You can also put together a will or a trust that as people, whoever's going to distribute those items, if someone wants to dispute or argue it, that's in the one of the people, that the beneficiaries, you can write in your will or trust that they will not receive anything if they don't go by, or if they give the person problems about the distribution of items. And I can guarantee you, I've been in a situation with a family like that. It went smooth sailing. No one said anything about the distribution. It was carried out to the T of what the parents wanted to happen. And so there's some things that you can help yourself and put in it. And you know your family better than anyone else. You don't want people feuding over your items after you're gone. So set up the right plans, give the right instructions so they know what to follow. Now, this list was not all inclusive, but probably more people hit on these things that we just talked about than not. So keep those in mind, and you'll know what to look forward to. There's a lot of other things after you retire emotionally that you will be going through. The finances is something that you can minimize if you do it right. Now, as we discussed, there are some things, since we don't know the future, we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to shift up, what's going to shift down, that we have no control over. So we do the best job we possibly can. And one thing that would help is to have not only an emergency fund, but a little other fund set aside. So if something does happen, you'll have additional money to tap into to make ends meet or cover certain things that are unexpected. So keep these in mind.